Good evening, everyone. Uh,
Good evening.
yes, so whether you're joining us from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Cameroon, the UK, anywhere you are in the world, you're welcome. My name is Denu, and tonight isn't another, you know, generic webinar on migration, you know, positioning yourself. Tonight is a conversation, or this particular session is a conversation, one that I genuinely wish more people had access to before they started their own journeys, right? Uh, you know, uh, tonight you'll probably come across two different narratives. A group saying it is possible to get this done, another saying it is easy, and necessarily neither is entirely true, and that is why we are exactly here. Tonight is not about opinions or this session, because I mean a lot of people will be watching this eventually when it is streamed on YouTube. Uh, this session isn't about opinions, it's about lived experience you hear directly from someone who had the same questions you're like asking today is about the UK global talent, about leaving your country, about all of those things. People who doubted themselves, uh, probably who almost didn't apply and wondered if they were good enough and all of that. And they are now living and they are now living and working in the UK as endorsed global talent, not because they were working. So um, I'm excited to just invite you to welcome you rather to this session, the ninth episode of the From Doubt to Endorsement, you know, uh, hosted by the Lone Circle, by Guluko Diaries. And then tonight, I have my wonderful, wonderful guest, Ispahani. I know you might do the correction later of the way I pronounce your name,
Oh,
but
you pronounce it well. It's,
oh, I'm pronouncing it well. I think that's
yeah.
the African blood. That's the African blood right there.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so we have Ispahani Mukah, my brother from another mother. So,
So,
he's a Cameroonian and he's a UK global talent. I'll just read his profile in about a minute now. So, Ispa Ani is a Cameroonian-born interdisciplinary artist based in the UK. He is a recipient of the UK Global Talent Visa. He got it last year. Am I correct of that?
that was earlier this year, around February this
Earlier
year.
this,
Yeah.
earlier this year. Yeah, earlier this year. So he got it like practically like 4 months ago, right? And he was as an award winning. So he's a recipient of the UK Global Talent and a scholar, a current scholar at the Royal Drawing School, London. He's an award winning artist. He was the global winner of the 2020 UNHCR Youth. He's going to tell us what that means. It's Refugees Art Contest and a winner of the Birmingham. I saw his submission for this, man. It was amazing. His practice spans drawing, design, painting, and community based work. Alongside his studio practice, he leads art workshops in both the UK and Cameroon, supporting emerging talent and creative development. He holds degrees in art history and computer science. Oh my God, you're gonna. I don't understand how you go from computer science to becoming a UK global talent visa holder in art, and not just art, visual art. My God. So it's such a delight to have Ispahani. Thank you so much for deciding to join to do this with us, right? Yeah, you have the floor. Let's hear from you to start with. How are you doing?
Yeah, likewise. I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to be part of this wonderful webinar. I mean, it's always a delight to, share your story and share your experiences and how you got the global talent visa with others as well, because it's a pathway that is going to definitely be very beneficial to many people. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Mr. Denu.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. So, uh, yeah. So, guys, obviously, you're joining us whether currently live uh, those that have joined us privately on Google Meet, those that will be watching this video, you know, you're joining this session right now. It is for you to have clarity, right? And stay free, still to the end for a free resource to guide your global talent journey, definitely. But in this session, I'm telling you, this is your clarity session on how to get the global talent visa as a professional in the arts and culture field, especially, most especially, niche down to as a visual artist. So yeah, I've got my questions, and please, if you have your questions, I can see Sinapon on the call, I can see Ebenezer, Noah on the call. If you have questions, our guest is ready to answer questions, is fully ready to answer questions tonight. I am sure he has prepared to do that for us. So to start with, I've got questions right here, and I'll be asking Ispahani, and then you'll be sharing his story with us. So the first question is, Ispahani, yes, I know I already introduced you the way I can, based on your bio, but I'd like for you to tell us, who you are, your field, your endorsement route, whether talent or promise, your current role in the UK, and how you normally introduce yourself to an audience. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me see if I got it right. So who I am. So my name is Ispahani Mukah. I was born in Cameroon, and I moved to the UK about 3 years ago. Over 3 years, like 3 years, 6 months ago. And so I'm currently a practicing artist. I was endorsed on the UK Global Talent Visa in Arts and Culture as an exceptional promise. So and that was in February, earlier February this year. And also that question, let's see. Yeah, so
Yes.
the route and how I introduce myself to people. So I mean, just simply put, I'm an artist, right? The reason why I put, sometimes I say multidisciplinary, sometimes I say interdisciplinary is because I have a background of, doing a lot of things in the art. When I grew up in Cameroon, my journey started in Cameroon. So I did lots of things. I was mainly a science student, which explains why I did my degree in computer science. But I did lots of work with, illustration. So I did things like illustration, I did graphic design, so I put my hands in literally lots of artistic fields that you would maybe want to grasp as a solid foundation to build your practice, and that has really helped me to develop what I'm doing today. So at the moment, I'm mostly in the contemporary space, so mostly doing exhibitions in galleries, and yeah, so my current role at the Royal Drawing School is just to take it to another level. So yeah, simply put, I'm an artist. I think it's a pretty much straightforward way to introduce myself.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So that's good. So every one of us draws, right? So if you know me, I've been drawing since I was young.
Sure. Sure. I've heard that.
Oh
I've heard
my
that like a
god.
thousand times. Yeah, everybody
Telling
draws.
but a select few are artists, and it's
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a
in some way. Yeah, like visual artists. Yeah.
it's, yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you here on the show, man. Right, I just have to say that, and I don't know why I laughed really, but because I actually draw nice.
No, I mean,
I
I'm not
haven't.
surprised. Yeah, I won't be surprised. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Just right on that, I actually graduated with architecture. I graduated from architecture, so
Okay.
I would have gone via arts, but I was also in science. And I remember I had a conversation with my dad in the car one day, and I had to be like, I think I was in my junior secondary, and he asked me that, okay, what course do I want to go read? And I said I really want to study architecture, but I have an interest in drawing generally. But I was already in science. No, I was not yet in science class. We are supposed to talk about which class I would go to, and I knew that for architecture I could either be science or
Mhm,
arts. So I was
mhm.
like, I'm really considering arts because I think I'll be able to draw more there. But he just said, I don't remember what he said, but that thing he said, I just decided for science class. And I found
Yeah.
myself, yeah, right now, I'm not even necessarily practicing architecture, but yes, I do draw. So that's just a little bit of me. Some people do not know this, but yeah, it's fine. But I'm not like maybe an artist the way Mocha is an artist. Like, he's the guru, yeah. So
Yeah,
you
but
guys,
that's interesting to know.
yeah. So now we are now going to be going deep dive into you and then into the global talent visa that you got, right? So I would like for you to share with us briefly where you were when you decided to apply for the UK global talent visa.
Yeah, so I think I would like, yeah, so to say that, I would like to maybe just push back slightly to the past when I moved to the UK. So I actually came to the UK on a skilled work visa. So I came with on sponsorship, um, because it was
Interesting.
an opportunity for me to like move to the UK. And during that time, I was working in Cameroon, and but I just wanted to leave Cameroon because I saw that it was kind of like roadblocks. Yeah, I saw that
We'll
it
come
was
to
not
that. We'll come
very,
to that.
yeah, favorable for my artistic development. So so fast forward, I moved to the UK, spent about like 3 years before I finally applied for the UK Global Talent Visa. So I learned about it. I think that was the first year I learned about the UK Global Talent Visa. That was towards the end of the year, but I was so overwhelmed with work that I didn't even give too much thought to it. The second year, I started looking at the requirements, and I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I can, apply for. And yeah, so that's how it is. And I started putting the pieces together, and eventually got to this year. So in yeah, so just briefly, that's how I, got
Okay,
the visa. Yeah.
usually people that relocate to the UK, they relocate because for study, they
Mhm.
relocate via the study route. So it is also it's very amazing to know that you actually went via the skilled worker visa route.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were on the skilled worker, so why did you not choose? Why did you not cross over to the worker? I mean, the skilled worker visa is the prayer of some people, a lot of people right now. I see saw
Mhm.
a post of that today. Like, is it today? Yeah, today that somebody you know is in the UK, he needs a skilled worker visa. So, like, why did you switch from the skilled worker to global talent, and why did you choose the global talent visa route?
Okay, so there are actually there's several reasons. First of all, was the original reason why I came to the UK. I came to the UK to like further my artistic development and get more opportunities. So it was never my original idea or my original plan to like work in healthcare. So it was something that was different from my what I would really enjoy doing, right? Um, so when I started working, I saw that I mean the healthcare, like I would literally go to work, go and do the same thing, go to work every day, come back. So it was pretty boring. I mean, I was earning money, right? But when I saw the global talent visa and I saw the privileges that it offers, and I was like, okay, this is a visa that is designed for, you know, somebody like me. Because when I saw the requirements, I was like, I mean, they're just talking about me. Even though when I initially saw it, I was kind of like skeptical that will I really qualify for this thing? But as
Yeah,
time went on, I saw that no, this thing is definitely for me. And of course, the UK Global Talent Visa has lots of privileges as well. Um, I believe if everybody on the skilled work visa could switch to Global Talent Visa, they would definitely do it without asking any question because it
mm,
gives you can work for any employer. You don't have to be restricted to one employer. You can start a business, you can be self-employed, and it has lots of other privileges, right? So
yeah,
so because of that, I was like, yeah, I mean, why not just switch to the UK Global Talent Visa and just have my freedom, free artistic expression, freedom to decide my career and have a say on where I want to go to. So that was the original motivation.
yeah, yeah. Such a nice motivation that is, such a nice motivation. Okay, so my next question is going to be that yeah, because okay, we quite not have much time. So my next question is going to be that what was your biggest challenge in getting it? Like, in terms of the process, what was your biggest challenge?
Okay, so initially there was a challenge of clarity, right?
Mm,
Um, and I would say clarity and time, but I'll say the time actually supersedes the clarity because I didn't have enough time to kind of like polish up my evidences. Now,
mm,
for the UK Global Talent Visa, of course, we know that you need to have like proof of appearances. Even though I came from Cameroon, I had awards. I had some awards that I'd had already, but I did not have enough like exhibitions in major galleries, right? Because in Cameroon we don't have so many galleries there. So I had
mm,
to do, go for exhibitions in galleries here. So trying to make that time to like get time off work, drive to Wales, 4 hours drive to go and attend an exhibition, to go and submit your pieces and build your evidences. To be honest, that part was not easy, right? So that was one of the hardest parts. I'll say the hardest part that I actually experienced. And secondly, I'll say was clarity because at the start, even though you see the requirements of what is required, right? But there is this question of am I doing it the right way? Because even though you have the requirements, there are many things that they don't say, right? They don't, I mean, when they say, okay, you have to like have professional appearances, they don't necessarily mention that it's supposed to be an arts gallery or it has to be this kind of institution, right?
mm,
So those complexities were, I would say, a challenge as well. So I think those were the two main things, but most especially the time, like making time to build my evidences.
mm. Wow. So in reality, because yeah, I was trying to remember a question I wanted to ask when you said you first saw about the global talent visa when you were already in the UK, and then when
Yeah.
you saw it, you know, um, practically you had to like delay applying to like this year,
Yeah.
right? So the in my head, I'm like, bro, you're on the healthcare visa, and then we already understand that okay, while you're in healthcare, you might or not even while you're in healthcare, why on the skilled worker visa, you're practically like just doing one thing. It's
Yeah.
just one thing you're doing. So like
Just anything.
how
Yeah.
how on earth did you have the time? How on earth were you able to still like be able to build your evidence? Because, for example, now there are quite a number of people in the UK who are looking to be able to navigate this route for themselves, and they're already like stuck up in jobs that they hate with their lives, and it's just very routine. And uh, like I think this is even the first time I'm hearing someone saying that they had to build their evidence wide in the UK.
Mhm.
So like I wanted to like shed more light on that. Like that's it's crazy.
Yeah. So first of all, like I've always been a proactive artist, like even from Cameroon. So I had
Mm,
been like running workshops, yeah, very proactive, like applying for online opportunities and all of that. And that was when I think during the COVID period, that was when I won my first international award, the UNHCR, which you earlier mentioned, which is the
yeah,
United Nations Youth Refugee Competition. So when I won that, I was like, okay, my mind was kind of like enlightened, and I saw, okay, there is actually potential for more global opportunities. So I've been doing it for a long time. But when I came to the UK, the issue was that even though I was building my evidences, right, I didn't have, most especially those proof of professional, I had like some professional appearances that are done. But with a UK Global Talent Visa, it's not just about having those things, right? But it also has to do with the quality of the things, of the evidences that you have. So I had to
yeah,
make sure that I actually went to very good galleries, like get my work out there, go to galleries, do exhibitions, collaborate with people and all of that. And coming back to your question, how did I do it? Build and everything. So I would say, first of all, there has to be a kind of like burning desire, right? You have to make up your mind and decide that this is what you want to go for. This is what you want to get, right?
mm,
So as a result of that, I mean, there are times that like I mentioned one time, like literally I've finished work by, let's say, um, like I can finish work by, let's say, 1. I'll drive for like 4 hours to, what do they call this place? Wales. So England's
mhm,
smallest city. I'll drive for 4 hours to Wales, go and submit my work, drive another 4 hours, come back,
okay,
to Birmingham. Sometimes I even arrive by, let's say, 1 a.m. in the morning, and then I'll sleep for a few hours, go to work the next day, you know. So it it was really it was really strenuous, to be very honest with you. It was really strenuous. Sometimes I would, of course, take, because even when you're on a skilled work visa, you're entitled to like holiday. So you have a number of days that you can actually take off for a year. So sometimes I will maybe like take some of my holidays, sometimes even as I've exhausted it, I would kind of like, between calls, because I was doing like domiciliary care as well and support work as well. So sometimes I would like rush for an exhibition, just go and, go there, you make an appearance, and then, just quickly rush back to work, and all of that. So you just have to put in the work, put in the effort, just round up with that part. So yeah, it was about putting in that work. And one thing I like to say is that it's not just because I just wanted to, okay, let me just get evidence and all of that. Of course, I'm an artist, and it's also part of my artistic practice as well to do that, to do exhibitions and get collaborations. And the UK Global Talent Visa as well was a good motivating factor as well, to push yourself the extra mile, right? Because you're actually fighting for your future. So it was about doing that. And even when I went for exhibitions, of course, I would genuinely go into exhibitions. I'll take out the time to create, like, most of my work that I was actually creating was in the nights, because I didn't really have time during the day to create any work. So I would create my work, do my drawings, my paintings in the night, and then try to go for these things as well. And of course, there was also like financial commitment as well, because it's not, you don't submit your work to galleries for free, especially if it's an open call, right? You have to like pay submission fees, transportation and all of that. So you just have to make up your mind and just go for it. So, and one thing I'd like to highlight is that for some people, not everybody can actually put in this amount of commitment and actually know exactly what to do, right? Which is why you can have a mentor as well, like somebody who has been there, who can just guide you, just hold your hands, right? To tell you that, okay, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, and then it's going to be easier for you. So for some people, if you're not able to do that by yourself, then get like a mentor, just get somebody who has been there, somebody who can guide you on the process, and then it's going to make things way easier for you. So that's how it played out.
All right. So that is really interesting. So I am someone who had always been saying this, that there is a global talent visa for everyone,
Yeah.
like literally everyone.
Mhm.
And this is the ninth episode of From Doubts to Endorsement. And then again, my hypothesis is becoming a law.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's becoming a law. Like, because the mindset that I've always had is that you are either qualified like right now, or you build your qualification.
Or you
And
build it, right?
that's
Yeah.
literally what you're showing us right here, right
Mhm.
here. So, and all this building work you did, though you already have like, work, proof of work from like 2020, right? But
Right.
the major building you did is looking like between when to when did you do this?
So that was around well, I started like doing those exhibitions from, because I came into UK, that was 2020, December 2022. So that was
Okay.
really the end of that year. So 2023, I started applying for exhibitions, right? But when I started, I did not really know about the UK Global Talent Visa by then, right?
Mhm.
I just wanted to just go to a gallery, just enjoy that artistic space, right?
Yeah.
So I started applying, and yeah, so by the grace of God, the first exhibition I applied for was the gallery here, one of the big galleries here in Birmingham, RBSA Gallery. So I applied, got into their Friends exhibition. They call it a Friends exhibition, which are people who are not registered, like, let me say, like in the close knit community of the gallery. So I applied for that exhibition. So my work was selected for that show. I got into the show. I got a certificate, highly commended certificates, for my work as well. And I was like, wow, like people actually love my work. And I took out the time, spoke with the people, took pictures as well. um you know and that's one thing. I know we're going to talk about that, but you have to document everything you do, like take pictures,
Yeah.
document your journey. Yeah, so that's how I started. And then I'm just going to apply for exhibitions. And then when I decided to take the UK Global Talent Visa very seriously, I think that was towards the end of 2023, like few months before the end. So I took it very seriously, put in more effort, and just decided to do more. And I had this tendency of like, okay, even though I had some evidences and I was ready to apply, I was like, no, let me just go for the next one. Let me just make it stronger, right? And that's what actually maybe delayed it a little bit, before eventually applying.
Okay. So first question before, sorry, one quick question before my next question.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing that. You applied how many times?
So I applied twice.
Okay.
So the first time I applied the first time, I applied the first time, there was an error with one of my letters, and that was the only thing. So
Oh,
I was like, oh my god, I had to wait again, apply again, and wait again for another,
okay.
because
So because of that error, you were rejected.
yeah, because of that error, because it was highlighted in the because when they give you a rejection, they state the reasons. So everything
Yeah.
was checked, and they said the only thing is just that letter. Um, and they said, even though the letter, it was a letter of support. One, because there are three letters of support. One of them, because they said letter has to come from an organization in your field, right? Even though the letter came from a renowned organization, right? But it's a bit funny, it's a bit technical, because it was kind of like a televised TV station, an arts show that is actually being shown on Sky TV. But the
Yeah.
letter rather came from the studio that actually produced that show. So because I
Mm,
could not get a letter from Sky Arts themselves, so the studio
mm,
that actually produced that show, since I knew them and had worked with them, they actually wrote me the letter. So they said, no, it cannot come from that studio because it's rather in films and I think cinematography, something like that. So because of that, they said
mm.
no, that they cannot accept it, and they asked me to just get another letter and apply again. So that's how. So the second time, I then got a different letter from another gallery that I'd worked with, and then finally got the endorsement.
Wow, wow. So that is very painful. That's very painful. But this is actually the first time that I'm hearing. This is the first UK global talent that
Yeah.
got rejected in his first application that I'll be interviewing on this show. But it is
Okay.
amazing. Like at the ninth time, and it is so did you try appealing this case?
No, I did not. I did not. I did not appeal. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I just decided to just apply again. Yeah. So maybe I don't know. I didn't appeal for it. Yeah. Maybe I should have, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's amazing that at least you didn't let the feedback get your back on the ground,
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
because that's the most important thing.
Mhm.
I tell people that when you are navigating the global talent visa journey, you are not you are not doing it from the place of desperation. You are doing it from the place of I got options, and UK,
Yeah.
I'm an asset here, so you just
Right.
got
Mhm.
to endorse me and that kind of a thing. So I don't know if you'd be comfortable with this, but do you mind walking us through? And I'll give you a picture right now. Do you
Okay.
mind walking us through the, you know, a little bit of some of the documentation, you had to like put together? Because definitely based on my work in the field, I know that, you are to submit like 3 letters, then about 10 supporting evidence,
Mhm.
right? Across, though it is listed on the page already, but like I'm talking about your own personal submission, right? Uh, 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 and then so the picture I want to paint is this, like,
Yeah.
especially looking at it from like uh, a young Ispahani uh, who is just starting out in the field of visual art,
Hmm.
right? So, uh, how the young Ispahani should position himself in the field of visual art so that eventually when he's trying to navigate the UK Global Talent visa route, for example,
Mhm.
he can have those documentation easy to be produced. And then that is question one, or that is one of the parts I need your comment on. The second part would be that uh, what would be what is your take on those, like, generally, again, for the young Ispahani who might not necessarily want to come to the UK but want to be known globally?
Yeah.
Uh, what would be your take on how he can build for global renown? Uh, and let me give a quick hint. Do you think that aligning himself with the UK Global Talent Visa requirements to build his profile uh, is synonymous to him actually position himself for a lifetime of global, renown in the field of visual arts?
Okay. So, others, should I go ahead?
Yeah, please. Yeah, the floor.
Yeah. So for the first question, about positioning yourself, um, now there's a question you asked. You asked about like this. Did you ask about the specific documents that are actually submitted, or
Yes, more like
okay?
that. And then how that merges into, positioning yourself as to be able to submit those kind of examples.
Okay. All right. So I'll just talk about like the documents I submitted. So I submitted 3 letters of support from organizations. These ones were specifically from some galleries. And then one of the letters was from an arts professional that I know here in the UK. So she's actually a curator. And then I submitted 9 proofs of professional appearances. So this was actually me in exhibitions, galleries, in art shows and all of that. So that was 9, and then I submitted 1 award. So those were the documents I submitted, and then also there was an artist CV that I submitted as well. And then about like positioning yourself for these things. Now for the UK Global Talent Visa, there are some documents that are mandatory that you need to have them. So the first one, which I think is the most important, is which many people find difficult to get, is the letters of support. So you need to get 3 letters of support. So 2 of them must come from an organization in your field. The first one must be from the UK. And then the second one can be from the UK or globally. Then the third one can come from an organization globally or from a prominent individual and a leader in your field. And then you also have proofs of appearances. So proofs of professional appearances can be you maybe like in a curated setting, right? Doing your exhibitions or doing your shows or your fashion or whatever it is you're doing. And then even though it slightly varies, based on the field that you're doing, on how you actually present those proofs of appearances. And then you have media recognition. So media recognition is kind of like whether you're mentioned on the news, newspapers, TV, and all of that. And then you also have awards, right? So the reason why, so I'll just quickly say that the reason why I submitted 9 appearances and 1 award was because one of my awards, I had like 3 awards, but I was kind of like trying to combine the ones I thought was the strongest, right, to make my submission look very strong. So there is other details about that, and I think they don't have to exceed 10. So in total, you cannot submit more than 10 evidences. And you also have to have an artist CV. So this is just like something showing your achievements as an artist, your exhibitions, whatever. And it's for them to like access and see your track record and your artistic journey, right? So those are the main documents you have to submit. And in terms of like positioning yourself for this, you first of all have to so I think these 2 questions are related. Like how can you how to be known, okay, how to be known globally and positioning yourself, and if it's something to align. So how to be known globally, I think it's about like just trying to, so I'm going to assume that you're in any part of the world. Let's say you're from Nigeria, you're living in Nigeria, Ethiopia, South Africa, wherever you're living, what you have to do is just to start, um, doing what somebody like a professional in your field would be expected to do. For example, if you call yourself a fine artist, or a contemporary artist, what do they do? Like, what are some of the things that you're supposed to do to be recognized as a credible contemporary artist? One of the things is that you need to run exhibitions. If you don't, you need to go for exhibitions in galleries. If you don't have the opportunities to go for those exhibitions, you can run a solo show, like a solo exhibition. You can organize a solo exhibition for yourself. Um, you know, Create a body of work, organize an exhibition, invite people, right? And because this actually shows leadership potential for you to be able to like put an exhibition together and get people together, right? You can apply for open call exhibitions, galleries, and these exhibitions don't necessarily have to be local in your country, it can be international as well. I mean, there are international exhibitions where you can actually ship your work. You can send your work there and it's displayed in the gallery, right? Um, and you can use that as some of your evidences as well. And then there is also um, which one would I mention again? So there is also you trying to like apply for global opportunities. Now, making use of the internet, right? So there are usually opportunities that are shared on the internet, on certain platforms, about maybe community development or things that are related to your field in the arts, right? So you can actually apply for these things. Some of them can be in the form of competitions. Some of them can be in the form of like grants, which can lead to more opportunities. So when you access these opportunities, you can, go for them, apply for them. If you're given the opportunities, try to make good use of them, right? And eventually those things will lead to many more things that you can actually build on. And another thing too is actually like getting to know professionals in your field. I guess even in your country, there are people that are more senior than you, like in your artistic discipline, right? Get to connect with them because there's one thing I've said this thing several times that there is one thing with opportunities. When opportunities come, those it comes to first are those who are at the top, like the leaders at the top. So when they see these opportunities, who do they share them? They share them with those that are close to them, like their mentees, right? So if you have like a mentor, somebody you're looking up to, and you're close to the person, you're showing that you have ambition, this person will likely share certain opportunities with you, right? Sometimes it can be exhibitions. Like just a few weeks ago, somebody sent me like a link for an exhibition that he said like he endorsed me for an exhibition for me to apply. And this is something that you will not even see on the internet. Like you will not see them saying that, okay, they want people to submit, right? So building your networks as well is very, very important. And also documenting everything that you're doing. I mentioned this before. It's important to document every step of the process. If you're going for an exhibition, make sure you take pictures, right? Make sure you keep a record of like dates, if you can even get like a small journal, right? Just keep track of those dates and all of that. If you go for a competition and let's say the competition goes on and let's say you win and it's kind of like a major competition and they don't give you like an award, like maybe a trophy or something that shows that you actually won the competition, you can reach out to them and say, okay, look, can you give me a certificate? Can you like create a certificate for me because I actually won this award? I had a friend who actually did that, and he reached out to these people because he won the thing and they didn't even mention his name on the website, nothing. They just did one post on social media and they reached out to them and they actually created a certificate for him, right? And which he could actually use, add to his CV, right? So for that first part of the question, it's not just about like um, maybe just trying to apply for a particular opportunity, but it's you building yourself, building your artistic, let's say, portfolio as an artist, and this would actually position you for like global opportunities. And the second part of the question is aligning with UK global visa required. I don't know if I'm getting it right. That do you
So,
necessarily
like,
have to like align?
do you think aligning with the UK Global Talent requirements for a visual artist, do you
Mhm.
think it okay? The question, let me put it in perspective. So I'm an artist I
Yeah.
am not interested in going to the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not interested in living and working in the UK. But what do you think? Do you think if I now align with the UK Global Talent, it's um, in terms of the requirement for artists, visual artists like myself, do you think it's going to really contribute to my entire global profile, my global positioning, and then probably get me global opportunities too?
Okay, I'll say yes. I'll say yes because um now I'll say like let me say 75%. Yeah, so 75% will qualify you for global opportunities. Why? Because the UK Global Talent Visa has very strict guidelines, right? And the endorsing organization is the Arts Council for arts and culture, right? I'm talking about arts and culture. There's other pathways. So for arts and culture, the Arts Council, has very like he has professionals and senior people in the arts field in different creative industries. So these people have sat together and they have deliberated on things and requirements of what actually constitutes a global talent, right? So it's not just they didn't just guess these things from anywhere, right? And if you know the UK, the way people work in the UK, especially, they are very meticulous about certain things, right? So if you are able to do those things, if you're able to work and do those things, like okay, they have spoken about like okay, you need to have media recognition, you need to have professional appearances. I mean, these are the things I was mentioning before. Like if you're a leader in your field, if you're a leader in arts, you need to do exhibitions, right? You need to have some level of media recognition because if you're making noise and you're doing things, then people would see what you're doing and they would want to report what you're doing on TV. They want to show you on TV, they want to call you for interviews. It shows that you are making impact in your field, right? And then you have awards as well, right? Um, I mean, if you see like artists like maybe Davido and rising artists and all of that, you see the awards they're actually getting. So and it's not necessarily awards, it's nominations and all of that. And these things are recognition of the work that you're doing. It's showing that you are actually making impacts in your field, right? And then letters of support. When you talk about letters of support, um, that's where okay, they said first letter must be from the UK. Now I think that one is because they want people who want to come and contribute to the UK, right? So they want to at least ensure that you have some kind of like footing in the UK first, right? So and of course, if you are a leader in your field, then you should at least collaborate with organizations. I mean, if you're known, let's say if you've done like maybe 20 exhibitions, right? There should be at least one gallery or one organization who actually ran one of the exhibitions you went for that has a relationship with you, such that you can actually reach out to them. And if they genuinely love your work and you've actually collaborated with them and you have a healthy relationship with them, then you can reach out to them and they'll write you a letter of support. You see, so I think that one too has to do with like, you being a person of good character, because if you are somebody who is you have positive energy, you kind of like you're not just talented, but you have good character and you have leadership potentials, then some organizations will actually recognize this and you can reach out to them and they'll give you a letter of support. So I would say that those requirements are if you can, they are structured to kind of like reflect the life of a global talent. So you can actually use that as kind of like a blueprint, for what would actually be considered a global talent, right? So my answer to that is yes, you can definitely use that as a guide.
Yeah,
So I don't know
yeah,
if I've
yeah.
answered the
So
question.
thank
Wow.
no, no, I think you did 105% justice to it. So thank you so much for that.
Okay.
And I asked the question, because uh, of some of the perspective I also have concerning, being a UK global talent. Because generally, my interest in the UK global talent visa is not even about the visa. It is
Yeah.
about uh, which will bring me to like my last question before I
Mhm.
now ask if anybody asks questions. Ask questions. You
Right.
the UK Global Talent Visa, is like gives you routes to eventually global mobility. That is
Yeah.
just English language. What I'm trying to say is that after spending some years on the UK Global Talent Visa, you get to become a citizen of the UK and then
Mm.
get to have a British passport, which currently, has that, you know, feasibility to travel and
Travel. Yeah.
access
Mm.
about 180 something countries currently,
Yeah. Yeah.
practically visa free. So
Mm.
that flexibility, that potential, that mobility is something that is needed for people who are like
Right.
global talents, like who are like
Mm.
nomads. So you are able to like travel. So that's like the main reason. That's in fact, so in my own head, what we do in my company for people trying to get them the global talent visa is even from the perspective that is like an end, is a means to this end of
To
global
an end.
mobility
Right.
as someone who is like a professional that is attracting global opportunities.
Mm.
So if I have a call and then the call needs me to be in the USA like the next day, I
Yeah.
don't
You need
want
to leave.
to have
Yeah.
here because of the passport I'm on. So yeah, so that's like that on one end. So
Mm.
and then yes, so the question which is supposed to be my last question, but I remember that I wanted to say is ask something first. But the question which is supposed to be my last question is that yes, concerning the ILR, concerning the British passport, what do you think about it? And then I know that currently you have about like 2 years left to become permanent resident of the UK, if I'm correct.
They actually have like, I think less than 2 years. I think by next year. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can
Yeah.
you imagine? And that's because he came in on the skilled worker visa.
Yeah, and that's a good thing as well, because the time can add up. The time on your previous
Yeah,
visa, skilled visa, can add up to your global talent visa. Yeah, for the qualifying
yeah,
period. So yeah.
yeah. So the next question, the question, last question now is that okay? Before the last question, so yes, now the question I asked that how about the ILR and the British passport for you?
So can you come again? You said how about the ILR and
ILR, that is the
yeah,
indefinite
indefinitely to
permanent
remain.
residency,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Mhm.
permanent residency program, and then the
Mhm.
British passport. What do you think about it? Are you bidding intentionally for it? Are you looking towards it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you already said it all. Getting, even though like with the you have lots of privileges with the UK Global Talent Visa, if you have the ILR, right? You don't have to pay for immigration healthcare surcharge, right? Which is like an annual fee that you pay. So you don't have to pay that
Yeah.
£1,000 or even the visa fee for the. So you don't have to bother about all the applications again, right? And also you would have like, I think you would also have access to like student loans and some government funding as well. Um, so definitely, and also from the IRL now you can get like the citizenship, and the British passport, which of course you said it rightly would enable you to travel anywhere you want to go to, without anybody trying to bother you because of your passports and all of that, right? So it's a no-brainer, right? Yeah, it's a no-brainer. And I'll just say that anybody who wants to go for it, right? Just it's an opportunity that is on the table, right? Go for it, because you never know. I mean, we can see that the economic and the socio-political atmosphere in the UK is pretty unstable. So you never know what can happen tomorrow. If this party comes tomorrow and they say that they're going to like withdraw this and try to restrict it or make it stricter and all of that, then you would have yourself to blame. So just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's definitely an opportunity worth going for.
Yeah. So I don't want to delve into the policies of the UK, but definitely I'm not actually happy with the fact that I don't know personally. Maybe I just have like a personal inclination with this guy, Keir Starmer. I don't know, but a lot of people don't like him. Even Donald Trump don't. So I don't know what's going on, but it's fine. So yeah, I think you already touched on it, though. The last question now will now be that what is your key advice to people, to others considering this path? You already said go for it, right? But
Yeah.
do you have any other key advice?
Yeah. So if you're considering this path, I would say that I think you mentioned something before that everybody can make take advantage of this opportunity. So if you're considering this path, there's other pathways. I know I've been talking about arts and culture, right? But there is academia, there is digital technology, right? So even if you are not you don't have the requirements now, you can actually build your evidences with time, right? So you can build your evidences. So and you can build your evidences and get and apply and get the visa. So it's a no-brainer. And if you need mentorship as well, I think you can reach out to Denu. I think it's Go Local Diaries. I think I'm mentioning the name
Yeah,
very
you
well.
try, you try, you try, you
Yeah.
try. Go local, go local.
Yeah. So you can get to them, and I think they'll be able to help you and guide you on the process on how to prepare your evidences and to get the. And I think that's why he has put this together to educate you about this opportunity, because some people have
Yeah,
the opportunity, they get it, and they don't share with others. And I'm shocked the number of people who don't know about this. I think it's possibly because of the fact that the requirements, and many people even talk about it because they think it's something that is impossible to get, but it's possible, right? As long as you have your evidences, you build that right narrative, you'll be able to get it. So go for it. Don't allow anything stop you. If you need to get mentorship, and yeah, go for it. So that's what I'll say.
wow, wow. Thank you so much. And also for the endorsement, thank you so much. So yeah, you know, we look forward to still having like another in-depth mentorship sessions with you. Uh, you know, for
Of course.
people who are like in our communities, and we definitely reach out to you for the details, right? And so definitely, if you're an artist, you're looking to really navigate, yeah, or if you draw, let us bring it down. So if you draw like Denu draws, so and you're looking to, let's even be frank, you're looking to like escape whichever country you are, quotes in quotes, escape. But this time around, we are saying instead of trying to escape, like position yourself to be considered like an asset, reach out, join our mentorship program. We have mentorship program in cohort. We also have like one-on-one mentorship. But you can join our next cohort of mentorship, and you know, you might just have access to Ispahani, also like having like one or two sessions with you, walking you through this process, in depth the more, so that you can build your profile, you can build your evidence, and you're able to, navigate the route for yourself. So today, uh for those that are currently live on the call, I just want to ask, do you have any question? Does anybody have any question before I go about the summary, and then we can release our guest? So if you have questions, whether something that came up based on what Ispahani has shared, or any clarity you need, kindly ask right now. You can type in the comment section or thereabouts. Okay. No, are you trying to say you have questions?
Oh no, no, I really just want to say thank you to you because this is a very insightful session, man. And I'm actually encouraged to take a step. So yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
All
So
right,
now you
great.
want to be, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad you're able to get some value from this session. Yeah.
yeah. So uh the next thing is going to be that okay, yeah, tonight we've had a very wonderful night with our guest Ispahani, and I'm more than grateful to Ispahani. This was a short session, and it had to be short because everybody's like quite engaged. But thank you so much, Ispahani, for giving the time to come on the show to share your journey, to share your story from going from the doubts you initially had to eventually becoming endorsed even after your initial rejection. It's just so amazing to have had you on the show. So in three things our guests have shared tonight. Our guests have shared you know um of how that it is very, very important for you to get guidance, to to get clarity, right? And not just guidance how this is something that is a possibility for you, and number three, how that you should just go for it. You should go for it. And obviously, one thing he said that the one thing he implied is that you do not have to like be you do not have to like feel estranged. You do not have to like feel like just you do not have to like be desperate for this, but you engage from the perspective that this is something that is worthwhile for you, like a contributor to the UK and all of that. So it's such an amazing time. Notice how you have shared and emphasized the stuff of having a good character, you know, building healthy relationship with people, collaborating, sharing your work, and being vocal about what you do. And when I'm saying vocal, like making
Mhm.
noise what you do in visual artistry and as well as across the board, right? So we are very grateful. Thank you so much, brother. I really am grateful to have had you on the call, Mr.
Thank you
Ispahani
too.
Mukah. So, guys, um, definitely at Local Diaries, we offer mentorship and guidance to help people like you begin a journey with proven systems for eligibility checks, documentation, and interview readiness. I would also encourage you to connect with our guest on LinkedIn. He's active on LinkedIn. He shares his story on LinkedIn. Kindly connect with him. We'll be willing to connect with you. Yes. Okay. So the this session obviously is hosted by the Learn Circle. The Learn Circle is a community of people currently on Telegram by Global Diaries. And then the goal of the launch cycle is to get you to take your success on a flight, like as a global citizen that you are, as a global professional. I will welcome you to join. Kindly find the details to join in the comment section. And then we look forward to having you in our next master classes, in our next session of From Doubt to Endorsement. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We've come to the end of the session. Thank you so much. Ispahani, once again. God
Thank you.
bless you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye.